Hello again, everyone. Jet A Blue here once again with another vlog. Before we get started, I just want to apologize in advance if I get short of breath or start coughing or anything like that. I'm recovering from a fairly nasty something or other. Was sick most of this week, and I'm still not 100%, so I can't really tell because my ears are clogged up, but I think my voice might be a little off right now, that kind of thing. So apologies for anything like that might happen in this video. Anyway, this is a momentous video because I have a new shirt. I don't know if you can see. It's got a Gandalf on it. He's saying, you know, he's clinging to the edge of the bridge in Khazad-dûm, about to fall to his death, and asking the Fellowship to delete his browser history. It's cute. This is a very rare occasion because I despise clothes shopping with a passion. So having a new t-shirt is quite unusual. This was actually a birthday present from my brother. So, yay. In fact, I'm pretty sure the last 3 new t-shirts I acquired, no, 3 of the last 4 were birthday presents from my brother over the last 4 years, or 3 years, which tells you how much I buy t-shirts. Never. The other one was given to me when I started my job. It's got, you know, a company logo on it or whatever. So, yeah. No. That's not the reason this is a somewhat momentous video. It's because I'm starting a new series. Today is Gravity Falls Season 1, Episode 1, which I just finished watching, like, 2 minutes ago. And, yeah, okay, I'm sold. Right off the bat, I am sold on this show. Basically, here's what I know going in. I know the theme song is awesome. I know that it's set, that Gravity Falls is the name of the town, and that it's like a rural, like, summer vacation camping kind of a thing. I know that it's got a lot of paranoid viewing. I've talked about it in previous series, that it strongly encourages the paranoid viewing style. There's a lot of, hints to future stuff and complicated plotting and, that kind of stuff. And that, like, there's a whole conspiracy, cryptid, Twin Peaks, X-Files sort of a vibe to it. That's just kind of the sense I've gotten from people talking about it on Tumblr and so forth. I know the names of the major characters, that kind of thing. So, actually fairly well-informed for me going into a series. I usually actually know less than that when I start one. But, I don't know any specific plots or anything like that. I think I've seen an episode. I think I saw something with video game characters coming alive, but I might be confusing it with a regular show. I'm not sure. So, whatever it was, I definitely haven't seen this episode before. Which I know because I kind of wish I'd filmed a reaction video, because then you could have seen me completely lose my shit at the gnome reveal. When Norman took off his jacket and revealed that it was, gnomes filling a trench coat, I just lost it. I cracked up. I was laughing through that entire scene. I could not stop. That was well done. That was well played. I did not see that coming. It caught me completely by surprise, and it was hilarious. Well done. And that's pretty much what sold me on the episode. Then, the fact, I was a little bit on Mabel being, kind of damseled, but then the fact that she's the one that found the solution with the leaf blower made up for that. Also, it was a great way to bring back, a gag from earlier as the solution to the problem, just as a gag from earlier, him accidentally showing her the gnome page instead of the zombie page, was actually foreshadowing for the real thing. So that was well done. But that's also, I think, an indicator of, from everything I've heard, the way this show is going to work. That there's going to be a lot of, subtle foreshadowing like that. Things that look like gags or like background things that are actually foreshadowing some later development. Which is cool. It's not, the thing that I find most interesting in the world. I've made clear before that I feel like a lot of shows, it's actually misplaced. But in a show where it's actually intentional and you're, quote-unquote, supposed to be doing it, it can be fun. It can be a lot of fun to try to, figure out the mystery or whatever it is. As long as there's a real mystery, I'm really hoping this is not an X-Files type situation where they just keep stretching it out forever. And it just keeps getting more and more ridiculous, wheels within wheels within wheels within wheels kind of a thing. That would suck. Hopefully that's not what they're doing. Hopefully they really do have a clear idea. Certainly they seem to at least be implying in this episode that that's Grunkle Stan's journal. At least, related to him in some sense, since the same kind of, the tapping of the code, the secret door opening, that's very similar, albeit more technologically advanced, than the way that Dipper got the notebook. Also, the number 3 on the notebook implies that there's at least 2 more, unless that turns out to not be a number 3. So there's, already implications, suggestions of something deeper and broader going on, and that's cool. The notebook is also, a cool plot device. It reminds me a lot of, the show that really turned me on to animation as a kid. The show that made me realize that this was a medium that, could really mean something, and that started a lifelong, that basically the show that took me from I am a kid and therefore I watch cartoons to a true animation fan, which is DuckTales, and the Junior Woodchuck Guidebook, which was a magical book that contained literally everything you could ever possibly want to know, as long as the writers wanted the characters to know it. And it's actually a really fun plot device. You can build all kinds of great stories around that kind of a plot device. So I'm excited to see it being brought back in a modern show. Especially, it also works well with this kind of a mystery because it's also, the journal of the previous explorer who mysteriously disappeared. Dipper even comments on that it just kind of ends as if the person making it vanished. So I'll be really interested to see what else is in that journal, if there are other journals, that kind of a thing. So far, the cast is alright. I'm not on fire about them. They seem to be fairly stock characters. Grunkle Stan is the jerk old man with a heart of gold, to the point that really without any impetus whatsoever, he gives them stuff from the gift shop at the end of the episode. It was almost like, well, we're at the end of the first episode, the jerk with a heart of gold has to demonstrate his heart of gold, so he'll be nice. But there was no real, he was barely in the plot, so there was no warming up. So that was a little strange. I felt like that was one of several instances where the episode kind of showed its seams, so to speak. You could see where it was being deliberately constructed. It wasn't organic the way, say, a lot of Steven Universe episodes feel. And you strap yourself in for that one, folks. There's probably going to be a lot of Steven Universe comparisons going forward, especially here early on, because I just came off of that show, and it's easily one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life. I am incredibly happy I watched it for these vlogs, and frankly, it's going to be hard to live up to. I'm sure Gravity Falls is going to work out to be a very good show. The fact that it managed to make me laugh out loud is impressive. I do not do that by myself. I laugh a lot when I'm in a group of people who are all laughing. Like, it's not like I find things funnier when I'm around people who are laughing at them. Just for whatever reason, when I'm by myself, my reaction to things that are funny is usually, oh, that's funny. But I don't laugh out loud unless I'm with other people. Unless something is really, really funny. And this episode got me that twice, which is fantastic. I mean, Parks and Recreation is one of my favorite comedy shows ever, and I'm not even sure if I can think of an episode that made me laugh out loud twice. And this pulled that off, so that's impressive. The second time, for the record, was when the gnome vomited rainbows. Though, having it do that continuously throughout the ending credits, that kind of killed it. That was too much. Overboard, guys. But it was funny the first time, and I really liked it. But yeah, getting back to talking about, like, you can see the seams, you can see where this episode is a deliberate construct, which is not in itself a bad thing, but it does sometimes make it a little bit, well, predictable. You know, the fact that Dipper would find Mabel to be the one person he could trust was obvious from the moment the book told him to trust no one. You know, she was going to be the Scully to his Mulder. Though, she's a lot sillier than Scully, which is fun. Mabel I really like. She's going to be a lot of fun, I can see. She's just wacky, and I love Kristen Schaal. Absolutely adore her voice acting. And actually her acting in general, you know. She was great in The Muppets. She was great in 30 Rock. She is possibly the single best thing about Bob's Burgers, which is impressive because Bob's Burgers is the best animated sitcom, period, ever. Like, it's better than Simpsons when Simpsons was good. I'd honestly even put it above Futurama, which, if you know how I rank things, that's impressive. And she is probably the single best thing about it. I love her in Adventure Time. I've never seen her in anything where I don't love her. She's just got this incredible gift for playing characters who have enormous amounts of energy and are very funny, and she can take it in so many different directions. She can take it psychopathic, like she does in 30 Rock and Bob's Burgers, where she's almost menacing, she's self-centered, so on and so forth. Or you can see it with Mabel. She takes it in this direction that's similarly self-centered. You know, Mabel's in her own world, doing her own thing, doesn't really care about what's going on outside of that, but at the same time, much sweeter, much more fun. I wouldn't say more fun than her character in Bob's Burgers, but certainly, if you were actually a human being living in that world, Mabel would be the person you would have fun with, as opposed to being terrified of. The way you would with Louise from Bob's Burgers. But Mabel, is just immediately really likable in a way that, like Dipper, for example, I like him as a narrator. I enjoyed his voiceovers in the episode. I hope that's a thing that continues. Though I noticed that it kind of vanished in the latter half of this episode, so I'm suspecting it's not a thing that's going to continue, which is too bad. I like narrators because I like unreliable narrators. And I feel like one of my favorite jokes is just when you have a blatantly unreliable narrator, when you have someone narrating a scene and the scene is immediately showing that the person narrating it is lying. You know, anime does this a lot. Slayers does it in the Previously On for the second episode of the series. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood does it when they finally get around to introducing Yoki. You know, and I've seen other things do it as well. It's just a fun thing. But it wouldn't cripple the series to not have it. I'm kind of hoping that Dipper and Mabel at least share main character duties, because I feel like Dipper is not interesting. Or that they do something to make him more interesting, because right now I feel like he is he is the generic main character boy. Adventurous and reasonably energetic, but skeptical, but open-minded, and he's, I don't know, pure of heart or whatever crap they decide makes him the hero. The chosen one, or there's no hints here of a chosen one narrative. I'm just throwing out, random crap that gets pulled out to make generic boy the hero. And, he's just not particularly distinguished from other characters like him at this point. Like, he's he's a less fun Finn from Adventure Time. He's Mulder as a boy. Just not, I don't know. But at the same time, something which could produce a character as fun as Mabel, I'm sure we'll find ways to make Dipper more interesting. Or at least I hope it will. And even if it doesn't, Mabel is there. And we've got Grunkle Stan, jerk with a heart of gold, whatever. Hopefully they'll actually have him be that instead of going through the plot beats of it with no character motivation. Soos. So far, what I've seen, I really like Soos. I like his accent. I like his role as kind of like the wise handyman. That's always a fun, the wise janitor, the wise handyman, the wise garbage man, whatever, the kind of working class person who's unassuming and yet knows all that is going on. It's sort of a lower key version of the holy fool or the wise fool, They just have access to knowledge that these supposedly intelligent, educated characters don't. And I always like that. Because, there are other sources of knowledge in the world, and we should be open to them. And that's kind of what that character always represents. And especially for something like this, it's going to be about, secrets and conspiracies and the Notebook and all that kind of stuff. I have a feeling that having somebody like Soos around will be, somebody who's observant and intelligent and not set in the same kinds of patterns of thinking as other characters will be, someone who's good to have around, someone who can help drive interesting stories. Other than that, my immediate reaction on seeing the Notebook was, it's Ronaldo's Notebook, because I'm still in a Steven Universe mindset. Gotta pull myself away from that. It's really fun to kind of contrast, like, Dipper with Ronaldo, because immediately what comes out is that Ronaldo's a much more interesting character, precisely because he's always wrong. But, I'm going to give the show time to develop its characters a bit before I make any firm judgments. Like I said, right now, I feel like Mabel is the only one that's emerging. Mabel and Soos are the only ones that are really emerging as interesting to me. But, I'm going to give it time to develop them more and see what happens and see where it takes them. I enjoyed it. It made me laugh. It's an interesting premise that has a lot of potential for good stories. We'll see where it goes. Thanks, and I'll see you all next week with episode 2. Bye.